Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. This is Gypsy, who's acting kind of funny, so I just was holding her for a minute. I don't know what, but we've had an especially hot day, and I've turned on our little box fan, and I don't know, she's just kind of shivering. Like we had it last year, so I'm just not too sure. But I thought I'd bring her up here to say hi. And now that I've turned on the camera, she's literally camera shy. The whole time I was setting up, she's looking right at it like it was nothing, and it's like she knows now. So, but hi from Gypsy, and she's perused all the Fleetwood Mac that I'm about to go over, the albums, so she approves, and we think we might have gotten our lighting even a little bit better. I tried on her, so a little bit paler, a little bit softer, if you will, for her little fluffiness. She's so cute. Is she cute? All right. Enough of that dog. So today we're going to get into the remainder of Tango and the Night, the albums and some shows that I have, and one little scrawny one that got away from me, which I'll just kind of get right out of the way. This was the Germany Little Lies, which I think was, I should have pulled it over, but it's probably nothing different really. I think it was just, just the Little Lies extended and Little Lies dub version on the back with Ricky. So I think I had this one from the UK, and this is the Germany one. So the only thing that's different is it says on the back it's from Germany, right? Yeah, if it says something not different on the back, you got to have it. I mean, that's that. So going right into the albums, though, aesthetically, I think I would say out of all the albums, this is most pleasing to me. And I brought it up with the 45s with the cover. I know it doesn't have the band, but it just, again, especially when it's large like this, it just has a vibe. I don't know. I'm partial to green. If I haven't brought that up 500 times, there's lots of green in this. I got very creative with this theme in my scrapbooks, pulling a lot of this into the pages, and a lot of the video references into the photos, and just a lot of the virtually the whole book has just like lots of greens and melons and black, and there's purple, and just, yeah. So I'm just was very influenced by this album cover when I was creating the backdrops for my photos in my scrapbook, Tango on the Night era stuff. So this is a regular LP. I have another one from the USA because what? Because we have a hype sticker. Gotta collect them all. Gotta have it all. The album back cover, inner sleeve with this kind of real pretty, kind of almost turquoise color paper, which is funny. It really goes with it, but kind of doesn't. It's an entirely different green, like a teal turquoise, but it's gorgeous. It does go with it, but it's just funny how it's not really a color on the front. It just kind of ties in. And then we have all the songs on one label, because on the other side we have the band photo, which I really like. I think that looks really nice. And that is virtually the same for all of the albums that I have. I don't think there's anything different. This was like that on, what was it? Was it Lindsey Buckingham's Go Insane? I think, I'm trying to think of another time where they put all the songs on one side and did a cool label for the other side. For Fleetwood Mac, I think this is it. And for Lindsey, I don't think Stevie did one like that. Of course, now I'll have to double check, won't I? So 2 USA copies, one because it's got the damn sticker. Can't help myself. But, right, this one's pretty damn cool because this is Germany. Look at that big sticker. Like, there's probably another Germany. No, this is the only Germany copy, but what fortune to have not just the Germany copy, but that big sticker. So that's a whole different hype sticker. Everything's the same on this one. Inside, kind of seems a little bit darker, but we still have the same label. That's kind of, yeah, it's actually kind of silkier, and it has the inside. This is the static sleeve, but they made a static sleeve with the photo and stuff on it. So that's actually a little bit nicer than the American one. But same with the damn record store that put their price sticker on the. Oh, God, it's so annoying. So annoying. Never tried to get it out. You can. It's a lot of work. And usually you use Goo Gone, or I think that's what you call it, Gooby Gone, but then that's going to stain the label. You could kind of steam it off, but then you risk steaming off your label. So you just leave it on, and you're like, oh, that's where I got it, because it says recycled record. So I'm reminded forever, for a lifetime, where I got the record. So I guess there's that. Maybe. This one is really neat. This is from a completely different label. This is from Russia. So cover's the same. Back is the same, except these little pieces down here. And then it's funny, their price tag. Obviously, what's Russian money? Is it like rubles or something like that? I think. I don't know. But the label different. Czechoslovakia, not Russia. My apologies. So I have two Czechoslovakia. I have that cool Rumors one that has a completely different. That's Czech or you? I don't remember. Anyway, very neat. That was just a fortunate find at a record store. This wasn't an eBay special. I was in a record store, and I check every copy every time. Again, like I mentioned with the when you see the CDs, I mean, CDs usually they're all, how they stack them somewhere. So I'll just pull the whole stack out and just check and see if they all kind of match up, and if anything slightly off. So I always pull this out and I look on the back, and immediately I could tell the back was different because that portion at the bottom. So that was a really cool find. This is something that I got probably about, I don't know, 10 years ago by now, maybe 2014. 2015, that sounds about right. And I think I got screwed. I think this was one of those fake records I'm on about. This is from Mexico. Considering when I got it, I just don't know. Has no inner sleeve. Yeah, I don't think it's real. And the record itself, is the US. Well, they put a sticker on it. Anybody could get that sticker, though. I mean, you could feel it. I could feel the ridge on it. Could almost get it up here. But the record itself says Warner Brother Record Inc. for the US. Then this is like Produzione or something, almost like, So it's really hard to see. Damn it. So what I think is, again, I think that sometimes they get the records, possibly out of, whatever sleeve they had, like that would have been a regular American sleeve, or this could be real. I don't know. I've just always been hesitant. When I first got it, I was so excited. I paid good money for this on eBay, like 40 or $50, which is a bit much. And the longer I've held it, the more duplicates. I've never seen one exactly like it again. And the more I see pop up on eBay, the more I'm a little concerned that, again, I got a bootleg. And again, the album, it could be legit, could be from Mexico, but I think somebody just fan made. Not that it doesn't look cool. as I say every time. And then this does have this little piece here where, could well be it went to a radio station. Could be something that was issued and made for a radio station. It's hard to say. But this is my coffee from Mexico, so that's what I have. Next up, we have the alternate. So, well, actually, I guess this would go first with the Fleetwood Mac box set. This one I had replaced because there's some pieces missing, and my dear friend Dawn, bless her heart, I feel terrible because her and I are very, very close, and she's kind of fallen out. She was a big Fleetwood Mac fan with me, and she's amongst so many stories of my Fleetwood Mac fandom, but she hasn't fallen out. She's certainly a fan, but she does not buy at all like she used to. And when these first came out, later we would get the CD sets, but when the box sets first came out, usually we had these first. I think we had these first before CDs. So when the CDs came out, I would loan them to her because it had all the specials and stuff like that. Well, times change, things happen, and some got misplaced. And so I was trying to ask her for, which ones she could find because she moves a lot. And just go through your CDs. Please try and find them. If not, just let me know because I want to put all my box sets back together and make sure that everything's complete. Kind of because I knew I was doing this, mostly because I'm anal retentive and I want my collection the way it is and stuff like that. But when she couldn't find it, she just rebought me a new copy. So this one is sealed, and I'm very grateful, but I just feel awful because I would have tried to replace the one CD or, try to find a beat up copy that somebody was selling to get the one CD that was missing. But yeah, so there's that. And on that note, the alternate version, oh my God, the alternates on here are so amazing. For Record Store Day, they did issue the alternate Fleetwood Mac alternative versions of Tango of the Night. So it's like the outtakes. I mean, it's virtually the whole album. No, not really. It's Down Endless Street, Special Kind of Love. It's everything. It's great. So it's all all the stuff that you had gotten on the box set, but on vinyl. So yeah, a definite must-have. This is a very special one. Again, when I find stuff and I tell you, there's a couple that I've had. I think there was the Japanese one that I showed you that came out around Tusk or 1980, and it was the Warner Pioneer Japanese. There's one of them with them on one side and Foreigner on the other side, and there's another one that was just them. Well, this is another situation of Warner Pioneer. This is super hits of Fleetwood Mac, and it goes all the way up from Fleetwood Mac White Album up to Tango of the Night, which the white's included. And this is, again, another hard one to come by. A little spendy, somewhere in the $50 to $100 range. This says 60. It could be that that's what I paid. It's hard to say. I just know that when I was finally able to get it, I landed it as soon as I could. So I have this with the album because even though maybe it should go with the singles, it's kind of hard to say, but or maybe it should preface the albums because it's kind of a collection of but it was a promo from out of Japan, and no Obi strip. I don't think there was. There's kind of like a mock one on the back, but I'm 99% sure this doesn't have an Obi strip. That this is how it's supposed to be. No. Am I wrong here? It doesn't want to let me in here. Yeah, no insert. Plenty of on the back though, which is really nice. This looks really cool up here too. And then the record. And this has, let's see, how many songs from Big Love, Little Lies, Tango of the Night, Seven Wonders. So 4 out of 12 songs from Tango of the Night. So yeah, really cool find. Definitely one I would suggest finding if you can. I don't know. I say that. I keep saying that. I guess I don't know exactly who's watching me. Everybody's been really nice, and I'm very grateful. If you're going to collect, I don't know. Do you want to collect everything like me? I mean, don't. You'll go broke. A lot of people only want picture sleeves. A lot of people only want Stevie Nicks stuff, only Fleetwood Mac stuff. They don't want Lindsay stuff. They don't want Christine's, and that's fine. I want it all. I want everything. I just, I love the whole band. I like all the pieces. I love all the small intricacies. But I don't know. I mean, when I say if you're getting this, I guess I would imagine that you're wanting to put more, maybe you don't have every album from every country, but like you have Tango the Night, and then you would want something like this because it's a good companion piece. Maybe. So when I say this is one you might want to have in your collection, I guess maybe that's more how I should phrase it or suggest you're wanting it. Because I'm certainly not trying to push anything. I just think it would be, this is a cool one to have. But I guess this would be a cool one to have if you're a record collector, and again, you're just trying to kind of bulk up companion pieces per album. So that one that was out of the 1980 with Fleetwood Mac on one side and Foreigner on the other side, that is a great companion piece to the 1980 live album. The other one with the studio shot of them with the blue sky background from around Tusk era, because I think it's from Tusk. That is a good companion piece to have with the Tusk album. You don't need to have all the singles. You don't need to have everything, but it just depends on what you want to collect, I guess. But when I say that, it just comes out of my mouth because it's stuff that I've seen over the years, and I guess it took me a while to land it, and I remember that, and so I guess if you see it and you find it cheap or you find it in a store, it's one you would probably want to pick up. You would not want to leave it there, especially if it's affordable. I'll stop. Next up, we have a picture disc. I think this technically came out in 1988, and so I'm a little ahead, and I have such a small selection for 1988 and the greatest hits, so I probably should have saved this for that, but it's okay. I mean, it's an interview definitely from, I'm pretty sure it is an interview from 87. Anyway, it's a beautiful picture disc. This company is they're legit bootleg place. They're called Back to Back, and I think they had licensing. I don't know about photos. Probably licensing because I want to say that probably these photos were taken maybe by photographers in the UK, so maybe they had more of a licensing agreement with them. You can see they had a very large list of people they did records for. I mean, Duran Duran, Paul McCartney. There's a lot of titles, and they're made in the UK, and they came and went. They were hot. They had CDs. They had 4x7 interview picture disc collections, 4x7-inch singles, and a display wallet. So I think what that was is it had kind of folded out, and there was like 4 picture discs, 4 7-inch picture discs, and they did that for the likes of The Cure, Madonna, never one for Fleetwood Mac. They did one 10-inch version. Fleetwood Mac has no 10-inch singles. Fun fact. I think I mentioned it before. I would love for a 10-inch version. I had heard that the EP album was going to come out as a 10-inch, and Rhino Records, if you're watching this, as I've suggested before, that would be a perfect 10-inch record to have. That'd be a really cool collectible. That'd be a perfect way to get EP, those 4 songs that came out after Say You Will and before the original 5 getting back together with plenty of Tory but no new material. That'd be a cool 10-inch. But anyway, but yeah, back to back they came, they went. They gave us a lot in the 80s, but they did give us this double-sided cool picture disc. The interview is with Mick Fleetwood. on here. And I'm not sure, I don't recall, I don't think there's any music. I think it's all vocal. And again, I don't recall if anybody else is on there. It's definitely Mick Fleetwood is the dominant and could be the only person who's being spoken to in the interview. But but beautiful, beautiful picture disc, real pretty one of Stevie. Again, this if you wanted this for your collection, these don't come up too often. These I don't see in record stores. These are really an eBay type purchase. Not that they couldn't be in a record store, but I really see these more. These are kind of an eBay thing or seller to seller. Yeah, more likely. So there's that. So that's kind of it for the records. Kind of what we're getting into now are some really random, some really cool pieces. Again, I sound like a broken record. This is a really rare. Again, I don't know if it's a bootleg. There's a couple of these. There's one's called the Fleetwood Mac Family Story, and it's hard to come by and expensive. These are radio shows, so these are legit, but they are meant to be sent to radio shows and not be in yours or my home. I mean, now who cares? You know, they've been aired, but they, I guess, just weren't supposed to be sold, I guess is what the whole deal is. So they are, not for sale, targeting Radio to America. This is the back of it. But there, like I said, there's Fleetwood Mac. This says Mac Story, the Fleetwood Mac Story. But there's another one, not called Going Home, but it doesn't look like this. But maybe I'm just second guessing. But I want to say there's another one that also says the Fleetwood Mac Story. It came out a little bit different, but it's a whole different thing than this one. But this one is definitely, has this standard label. It always looks like this. Comes with this inside. Luckily, mine came with everything in it, which was really cool. It is a 3 record set, pardon me. So this one is unusual because normally when you have a record set, it's really weird. They would do side 1, and on the next record, it would be side 2, and then on the next record, side 3, and then on the record 1, it would be side 4, side 5, and side 6. Back in the old days, when you could stack your records, you would put these on the spindle so that your first side would drop, and then your second stuff, then you would flip everything over, and then you'd have your fourth side drop, your fifth. That's why. And a lot of radio stations would play that so they didn't have to reset up stuff. So this one, however, is when this ended, they had to take it off the spindle, flip it, play it, take it off the plate, put this one on, play it, flip it. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, so 6 sides, all 6 sides are full. And then there's also this really neat So this says again 1989, but this was all from 1987. So I have it with my Fleetwood Mac Tango of the Night. So again, maybe I should have put it with 88 and 89 to bulk up that pile of stuff that I have, but no, not gonna. So just kind of the press kit tells you what it's about, what's playing. They talk a lot about it's the interviews with Stevie, Mick. Everybody's on there. Lots of Hershey peppermint patty commercials, because that was the thing then. This aired February 17th through the 19th, 1989. But I'm going to say it was recorded, or definitely lots of segments from 87 or possibly 88. It's hard to say. But anyway, several pages, really cool. Just a really nice. It's nicely packaged, nicely put together. I'm grateful that it has all the paperwork. That's rare, even as something as dumb as this. Like, that's amazing. Like, if I listen, Linda, if I had this and I found out later that it was missing this, I'd be on the mad hunt to find it just so I could have this inclusive. Not gonna lie. So I'm really grateful that it has everything. So, like somebody just told me a CD I had shown did indeed have an Obi strip it was supposed to. So now I can't. I have to find it now. I have to find it with the Obi strip, even though I've had it all this time without the Obi strip. It's just a CD, but it's not together. It's not right. So I've got to find it. So yeah, nice little package, nice, thick to house all the albums, all the paperwork, and it is in immaculate shape. So this you could probably also find if you just look up the Fleetwood Mac story on YouTube. I'm sure it's there for audio if anybody wants to listen to it. I can't tell you the last time I listened to it. Next up, we have another Fleetwood Mac show. This aired from April 20th to the 26th, 1987. And again, this was a 2-record set. So this is an example like I showed you. So see, it's side 1, then back is side 3. So their side 1 has 3 and side 2 has side 4. Well, it doesn't, but that's why, like I was telling you, which is kind of cool. And then this one as well has its paperwork. The Legend of Fleetwood Mac. And this one looks like it is, doesn't tell me. Lots of music on there. Hold Me, Go Dust Woman, Say You Love Me, Black Magic Woman, Sentimental Lady, Hypnotized, Bermuda Triangle. So they talk about Bob Welch, I should say, which is nice, but I'm not sure who's interviewed. I can't recall. Is it all of them or is it just Lindsay? Sometimes it's like that. It's a Fleetwood Mac interview, but sometimes they just spotlight one person or one person is there to talk about the band. So there's that one. Then I have a second part, it looks like, to the same thing that goes from April 27th to May 3rd. So it's even more of this same story. So these go in tandem here. And still NBC Radio and paperwork again. Yeah. I'm going to guess I purchased these together because that's luck. I can't imagine that I would find it and then be so fortunate to find part 2, which is really weird. And that's really weird. This has how many records are in this one? That's a lot of an interview. So this one also has 2 records in it. So 4 records in total, and it looks like all sides have recordings on them. Nope. That's so funny how. Yeah. Alrighty, well, I'm just kind of rambling on. So next up we have Deep Dish. Deep Dish had done the Dreams mix, but I did not know until I found this at like a DJ type weird record store in Portland. But it was really fun to go through. That's some really neat stuff. But I guess Deep Dish also did a remix of Fleetwood Mac's Big Love. I do not know what year this came out. Again, it's with Fleetwood Mac, the Tango Night stuff because it's Big Love. It's a really cool version, but it has no date on it whatsoever. I'm sure I could find it on Discogs. It maybe would tell me. It's the B side. The A side is Coldplay Clocks. So I guess they mixed that up too. So that was just a random find. I found another one too. There's going to be another portion I pull out. I don't remember what that was. I found like 2 or 3, 4 really random records at that store that I didn't even know. I was just going. It was so cool because it's like it really was like a DJ store. I mean, there are like DJ beats, things, stuff I'd never heard of before, but because they were using so many singles and stuff like that to mix with, there was a lot of 12-inch version singles, like like a Fleetwood Mac single. Maybe I didn't see any there per se, but an example of. But then they would take them and make their own mixes. So there was just a lot of stuff to find. And these one-offs, were really cool. There's this one. There's one that has the Fleetwood Mac picture from Rumors on the label. Maybe I've shown that already. I'm not sure. And then that one, there's a Stevie Nicks one. Or that might have been where I found my Planet of the Universe, which will be coming up shortly. And yeah, so anyway, I'll wrap up again with this one. Again, probably should have saved it for next, because next will be the greatest hits going into Other Side of the Mirror. And I don't have much in the greatest hits, so I'll probably just kind of merge them. And this, like I said, is 87, 88 kind of, but it's clinging on to, in my opinion, Tango of the Night. This did come out in 1987. And this was really cool. I just happened upon this one day. This is called Yulesville. And it was just a Warner compilation of Christmas music or Christmas spots. And this was really neat because it was Christine McVie, and there are 2 segments of her, like just like wishing you a Merry Christmas or something. One is 7 seconds long, one is 8 seconds long. And it's like the first one is like, "Hi there, this is Christine McVie, wishing you a very happy holiday from Fleetwood Mac." And then the other one is her again saying, "Don't drink and drive," or something like that. And then there's the smallest write-up about them on the back here. And it goes into ends right here. And then to boot, if that wasn't kind of cool, it's this beautiful red vinyl for the holidays. But yeah, I just found that. So it's a promo type thing, as you can see on the label. I think that's meant to look like an ornament with the shine on it. And just really neat. Something I found, and I really love it. And just that little segment of Christine's voice, it's just cool. They took a moment and, something for the studio. So that was a cool find. There's another one of these too. And I think Nick is on it, possibly. Or not. I don't remember. There's this other weird Warner Brother thing that came out like for trees or something like that. Christmas or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling on now. I've gone way past 30 minutes. I apologize. I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for Tango of the Night. Again, one of my other most favorite albums and stuff to talk about. And like I said, next we'll be going into stuff from the greatest hits, 1988, and where this record is from, Other Side of the Mirror. And in fact, that's a beauty, which if you couldn't tell already. So you'll see that next time. So thank you again for joining me always. And until next time, have a great night. Bye.